You're listening to Arival audio recorded live at Arival Bangkok 2019 and distributed here by Tourpreneur. In this session, Raj Gyawali, founding director of the leading Nepal tour operator socialtours and Asia's first Travelife-certified brand, speaks to building a company culture with responsible, sustainable practices baked into the day-to-day operations.
Yesterday when Douglas was talking about, when he started the whole thing, one of the things that he mentioned very clearly was sustainability. And that's the big elephant in the room. It's always there. You know, how to do it well, how to do it sustainably, try to control over-tourism, produce really interesting products that are experiential, you know, really benefit communities. And we heard a few examples that also came out from yesterday on these grounds. But what I'm trying to do today is to actually look inwards. So there are two sides of sustainability and responsibility. One is creating great products, delivering out there good profits, spreading the benefits to communities and everything. But the other side of it is the company itself. How can you make a company sustainable? How do you create a culture of responsibility within the company itself? So that's what I'm trying to address today. So that's me over there, looking not very fit, but in part of the whole team, really enjoying ourselves in a professional development program which actually celebrates a whole year of work, but at the same time also learns about responsible tourism, risk management, hard skills, soft skills. So we work on that quite a lot. So I'm just telling you a little bit about that. Now, the important thing here that I'm trying to say with this slide is that responsible tourism in a company is a constant work in progress. This is a picture of our cooking course. It doesn't have a price, by the way. It's based on a principle of karma, so people pay whatever they want, which really screws up the OTAs in the room because they don't know how to take commissions from us. So we actually don't list them. I've been looking for solutions, and it doesn't happen. Anyway, now look at that picture, and you see a few things here. The experience, it's teaching people part of our culture. So it's a sustainable, responsible pride activity. The people learn that and they take it back home. So they take back a skill. So it's really good for marketing. The table is actually sustainable hardwood. It's actually made out of mango wood, right? The aprons are actually stitched by women. You don't see that. The placemats are actually fair trade. But then, do you see something out there that is not a fit in terms of sustainability? Pardon me? Exactly. We've got actually a plastic dustbin out there. So what I'm trying to say here is that is the work in progress. And we're still working on it. This has been 9 years we've been working on this tour, right? So you always have something that you need to work on. Interestingly, in this tour, we actually have a shopping bag that is made out of recycled rice bags that we've been using for 5 years every day, right? For me, that is impact, a long-term impact. It's not used just once. It's not about reducing plastics, single-use plastic once. It's about doing it over time, And that's a lot of travelers who have actually seen that and get inspired by that. So that is an important one. So I'm just giving you one trip as an example. How did it all start? I mean, the company started in 2002, and 1998, I was supplying H&M with sweaters, thousands of them, a factory with 1,000 people working. And at that time, we brought in 2 groups of students from England and got them on a cost-plus model in Nepal, doing a wonderful trip, but $200 was set aside for doing eye camps, cataract eye camps. We raised about $6,000. Went and did free cataract camps in the villages. That for me was, that's the power of tourism, was really, really, really powerful stuff. And to see somebody come in blind almost and go back completely, able was something really inspiring. And that's where the concept of social work tourism came in. And that became Social Tours, mostly because I found a website and I could get the domain. But there was no other reason other than that. But nowadays, when I ask people, what is, when people say, what is social tours? Is it social media? But no. It was about social work. So I studied business, and if you look at business, if you look at the discussions happening here, it's about volumes, money, profit, minimize cost, maximize profit. So for me, it has been a continuous unlearning process of unlearning everything I learned in business and trying to put a completely different model into the company to try and put that culture in of sustainability and responsibility. So where we started is values. So it says, it's not hard to make decisions once you know what your values are. So the value-based decision-making model was something that was really in my head. And if you use values, it's the same like in families. You start making decisions based on the values of the company. So if you work on those values, it works really well. Moving on from that, the nuts and bolts was very simple, that responsible tourism is about culture, environment, local economy. It's about sensitivity and contribution into local economy. So those are just the 3 pillars that we used very clearly. And then based on that, we made some policy. And then started the whole thing. Like I said before, the work in progress, one step at a time, one little thing. But the focus is the most important thing, that you just have a very singular focus that you will try to be sustainable. And you keep on going at it. So that was just the simple way of going forward. So where does that result us now? Oh, it's clear up there. It's not very clear here. So one of the few initiatives that we do to contribute into the local economy is, one, we do not vertically integrate. So we don't own cars, we don't own hotels, we don't own airlines, we don't own choppers, we don't own any of that. We just do the tour planning and use everything from the market. And that way, the money spreads into the economy. That is a very strong policy that we have. And that ensures that about 70% of all trip costs actually goes back into the economy. And out of the 30%, there's a little bit on tax. Of course, I need to go on holidays from time to time. And then, staff need good salaries and stuff like that. So that is a very, very important figure for us. And then the development of products to spread benefits. This morning, I had another session on masterclass on Nepal, where we were talking about different experiences that actually showcase a country from a different light. Every country has that problem. You got these iconic products where everybody wants to go to, and then you have the other products where nobody wants to go to. So then it creates all this disparity. So people in certain areas do not get any income, and other areas, they get a lot of money. So to try and balance that off, developing products that actually go into different areas becomes a very important aspect of what we do to develop these new experiences that spread money into the economy a little bit more. There's a lot of listings out there. I'll not go through all of them because we won't have time for that, but I'll be taking some of them. In the environment side, sensitivity on the environment, apart from teaching clients, travelers, how to be responsible towards the environment, we ourselves make sure that we recycle. I told you about the bags. We have actually, the entire office is made out of recycled materials and stuff like that. So it's actually very, very sustainable in its own. We also use solar. About 70% of our office is actually, working on solar. Even though in Nepal, actually, the electricity we use is hydro, so which is actually already clean, but we wanted to go even further, so we said solar. Now, we're still only 70%. We're still not 100%. So again, work in progress. We've got to work on that. On the cultural side becomes a very important part because a lot of travel people, especially today when it's a lot of Instagram sort of travel where people just want to see, put themselves on the picture and just go back. We try to educate the traveler to actually learn how to respect cultures, and therefore the people in the country also respect themselves because other people have to come and respect you too for us to learn how to respect ourselves. So doing that is very important. I've constantly worked on gender equality at work, and this has been a very strong point that we have actually worked. But again, work in progress. Sometimes it's always imbalanced. People leave, you can't find new staff, so you cannot really say, I want a female, I want a male. It doesn't work like that. So you got to find people who are capable. But then we keep on working on it. And then the cultural diversity at work is interesting because Nepal has got 150 different ethnic groups. And trying to put that diversity together when you only have 10 people is kind of difficult. But you do try hard to try and get people from a diverse culture into the workplace. And that has a very good benefit. You actually get expertise from all over the country. And it's really amazing when you do that. Giving back to society becomes obviously a very important part. That's how it all started. We conduct one of the biggest charity rides in Nepal with 3,000 riders. It's going to happen next month. It's been happening for 8 years. We've put $65,000 into charity through that, just raising money using cycling. We do a run to school. I work with several different NGOs working in the trying to give back into the communities. And then also the eye camps, obviously. I'm still attached to doing cataract camps, and that becomes an important part of what the company does. The education part of it is quite important, obviously. Responsible travel guidelines, that was the first things we developed when we started the company. And then, of course, the sustainability talks with the industry, trying to spread out the message a little bit more, trying to give people a chance to actually get inspired by that. Guide trainings, industry networking, all those things become very important because you cannot be doing green hushing. If you're doing the good stuff, you got to talk about it as well, so that the industry also gets inspired. And that becomes a very important part of what comes as a culture. Then, it's just this. Constant practice. Initiatives come, initiatives go. Sometimes things work, sometimes things don't work. You got to keep on at it. And that is a singular focus that we have, that practice. You do not let go. If something doesn't work, sometimes you just say, you persevere a little bit, but if it doesn't work, you let it go, then take on another initiative, keep at it. And if you keep at it, the culture keeps on going. So trying to develop this whole idea with lifetime experiences, we've started off a little pet project, which is working on a coffee shop that does everything conscious. So it's got conscious coffee, conscious food, conscious products, working with artisans, and also conscious travel. So trying to build that all together into one little space called the Hub in Kathmandu. And that is the space that we have actually developed right now, and giving a real lifetime experience on conscious living. I also run another company in Norway, which does travel around the world. So it's actually, again, about spread. So we do inbound Norway and we do outbound the rest of the world. But again, trying to use the same principles, trying to use the culture of being responsible around the world. At the national level, working on collaborations. That is my little pet project right now, and I think I'm actually gone out of time. And I'll just tell you internationally with stakeholders, open houses. Okay, I'll just tell you a little bit. It creates a better office environment. It gives a real market leader image in the industry. The customers feel like they've really made a good choice when they come with us, and the stakeholders, very importantly, are constantly happy. And that, for me, is the definition of success. So if I tell you in the end, does it work? Yes, and it does make business sense. That's it for me. Thank you.
We hope you enjoyed this session from Arival, the only event dedicated to creators and sellers of tours, activities, and attractions. Head to arivalevent.com to register for upcoming conferences around the globe. And for insights into the in-destination industry, head to arival.travel.